You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Bada, bada boom, sold.
Huh?
Just sold my car on Carvana. Dropping it off and getting paid today.
Already?
What, you still haven't sold yours? You told me about it months ago.
Is
the offer good?
Oh, the offer's great.
Don't have another car yet?
I could trade it in for this car I love.
Come on, what are we waiting for?
You're right.
Let's go.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a smoker or dipper looking to make a change, you really only need one reason to do it. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you can find many. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch. It's made with only 6 simple ingredients. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Learn more about Zyn and find your reason to make a change by registering online at Zyn.com.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadow in it.
I come in today and legitimately excited and happy, missed you guys, to be back at work. And as I'm walking through the eating area, Greg Cote says to me, and I was delighted to see Greg Cote. It's a Monday. I wasn't expecting to see Greg Cote, so I'm made even happier by that. And he just looks at me and he says, "The bacon is undercooked. Can you get on that?"
You should, yeah.
See? I mean, you're in charge here, ostensibly.
So what are you doing about it?
I didn't know it was undercooked until minutes ago. I will have to do something about it because he's been complaining about it since. He says there is no food that is a greater disparity between when it's done well and when it's done poorly.
Right. When it's done well, I can eat a pound of it in one sitting. If it's done poorly, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to put it on my lip.
Is it undercooked or is it just undercooked to your preference?
It's undercooked to my preference / undercooked.
Like not food safe.
I think it skirts that. I think it's edible.
That's not good.
I think it's edible.
You don't want to skirt food safety.
No, you're right. I do think it's marginally edible, but not to this guy. No way, Jose, as we used to say.
You can't say that anymore.
I don't know.
I do believe you say it. You know what?
I just said it. I said it the other day.
You know what? I believe we should cancel that. I'm gonna proclaim that insensitive to my people. Make some find. No way, Clay. Make it. I'm okay with that. Get my people out of your mouth.
It needs to be 2 syllables, man. I mean,
does it?
I think so.
Do we have a Jose in the building? Because I'm curious what a Jose thinks about that. I look at it as a compliment. No way, Jose means even Jose, who's pretty sharp in all areas, would not say that. No way, Jose. Jose would not eat undercooked bacon. I guarantee you that.
Let me ask you guys again on this subject, because he's saying it skirts safety, that basically eating raw bacon might cause sickness. You're not saying that the breakfast here would do that. No. I am proud of Meadowlark Media because we serve breakfast and lunch. I don't think a lot
it's a low bar.
I don't think a lot of people do that. I think if I asked most people, does your company serve breakfast and lunch? I think the answer is no.
Yeah, what about dinner, though?
Billy, what are you wearing?
Me? A Caleb Williams t-shirt.
What is that?
Oh, this on top of my Caleb Williams t-shirt? I'm one of those inflatable wavy guys.
Okay.
That you see like at whatever, like a mattress store or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, mattress store. I like that.
I'm a person, as you know, that I take the bucket of death very seriously, and there's punishments to be paid off, and I'm paying one off.
I was told that has a motor. Does it have a motor?
It does, and I think I waved too hard, and I think it just broke, and now I'm deflating.
He is deflating.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That is Jess being a really good teammate right there. Jess has scurried over from her position, and I got to tell you, she did not want to leave that position because I've rarely seen Jess as radiant as she is today. the Pittsburgh Steelers last night had her snorting Tomlin press conference late into the night as her boyfriend tried to sleep and she wouldn't let him. Mm-hmm. She's laughing at your Jets because Davante Adams now lost to the Jets with the Raiders, got traded, and then lost to the Steelers with the Raiders, got traded, and lost again to the Steelers last night. Who's Aaron Rodgers going to fire today?
I don't know. He's out of moves. I mean, he is completely out of moves. He got Davante Adams. They were saying last night that Davante is the missing piece.
Yeah.
Aaron was supposed to be the missing piece. It is so embarrassing. I am so distraught because I had such big expectations for this team, and the guy who is letting me down is the guy that I had huge expectations for. He is the reason this team is losing football games.
The throwing interceptions is not something that I'm used to. I imagine a lot of people are enjoying Aaron Rodgers falling apart in prime time with the Jets having all of these games. Look how happy Jessica is. She just fixed successfully Billy's inflatable arm man costume. A hero. You've begun the show as a hero, Jess.
Billy and I just got very close. He looks great, though. Dan, Beanie Bishop, undrafted free agent, 2 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. We all questioned Mike Tomlin last week, saying, why are you not starting Justin Fields? Justin Fields started the season 4-2 with the Steelers. He's been really great in the QB run game. Russell Wilson hasn't been a great quarterback in a couple years. The Broncos thing was a disaster. Why are you starting him in Sunday Night Football against the Jets? They have a good defense, right? Wrong. Jets secondary, super banged up. Steelers pass game unlocked for the first time in like 4 years. They scored 37 points, Dan. 37 points. 37 points. Najee Harris had a great game. Russell Wilson, after a shaky first quarter, played really well. Yep. George Pickens, great game. I am buzzing today. We all questioned Mike Tomlin. We said, this is the boldest decision. This is a weird move, like Chris just said. This is a bold decision. Why is he doing this? And look, will it work out in the long run against better teams? I don't know. We'll see about that.
Well,
possibly not. But they won.
Let me stop you guys for just a second on the questioning of Tomlin. Like, so if you're willing to do it to Tomlin, you're willing to do it to everybody, right?
Yep.
Like that. You're smarter than every coach in the NFL on every decision, correct? If you're willing to do it to him, because the stats on the Steelers, Stugotz, like, they haven't actually been that good over the last 51 games, okay? They've been outscored by 113 points, but they're 28-22-1. Like, they've been outscored because they're not actually any good, but Tomlin always has a winning season. And Tomlin, who was too hip-hop for the Miami Dolphins, who then hired Cam Cameron and went 1-15, has instead, with the Steelers, become essentially Don Shula of the Steelers of this time. I know they had Chuck Knox, but he's the one coach that we all say, I thought, well, if he's choosing between his quarterbacks, he's not going to do wins like the rest of us. He's going to actually assess the quarterback, and he's going to figure out that Russell Wilson is better than Justin Fields based on watching him a lot more than us and having a lot more invested in it than us.
Chuck Noll, that's a fun. Chuck Knox was the Seattle Seahawks head coach. I think a cup of coffee with the Bills as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good
you got
point.
it. Yeah.
Very good point.
I mean, the guy won 4 Super Bowls. I mean,
I'm a little rusty. I've been off for 9 days. That's going to happen. I deserve that fine. But I was shocked to hear that you guys spent the week in my absence questioning Mike Tomlin.
I was all Stugotz on the day I was off last week, to be fair. I did question him, but I also, at the same time, like, I watched all of the Steelers games leading up to this game, and I think a lot of people just looked at Justin Fields' stat line and looked at the win and loss record and said that he was having a good season. Like, I'm not going to pretend like he didn't have some really great moments, and especially earlier in the season had a couple really good games, but he didn't play well against the Raiders at all, and so I was not really that surprised about the decision, but I did question how much better do you think Russell Wilson can be, and it turns out in at least last night in the pass game, again, against a really depleted Jets secondary, he was a lot better, and that was a key to scoring 37 points for the first time in 4 years.
In fairness to me, questioning Mike Tomlin was the second most ridiculous thing I said last week. I said Ohtani was overrated. I mean, so...
That show.
There's so much to talk about. There's too much to talk about, right? I mean, the Liberty win a championship, best basketball team in New York since 1973. The Dodgers and Yankees are in the World Series, which is just amazing.
Perfect.
And just, I can't tell you, Stugotz, I don't like the Yankees, okay?
Yeah.
watching them play against the Guardians, I enjoyed nothing in baseball more this postseason than watching the Guardian catcher and pitcher realize before the rest of us that one of those Yankees had gotten a hold of the ball. And they just deflate, like with all the catcher's equipment. Naylor is deflating. You got Bybee what happened?
Deflating like Billy, I was going to say.
Yeah,
exactly.
But we've got so much to talk about, and you guys are starting on Steelers-Jets because football rules. College football was great again this weekend.
So good.
By the way, Minka Fitzpatrick absolutely cheated out of that blocked extra point. They called him for using leverage. He didn't touch anyone. That was a perfectly timed leap, and that was... Oh, my God. That was a real turning point for me in this game when I said, okay, I went into this game thinking if the Jets win, whatever, Steelers, we suck. I hate them so much. And then that happened, and I was like, no. This Steelers football, the special teams has been so good this year. I can't watch them lose to the Jets. The Jets stink. The Jets actually stink more than the Steelers, and the Steelers now need to win. And then the Steelers did win, and then I laid in bed smirking at my phone watching press conferences from Mike Tomlin all night.
I would love a group of people, just once, anyone to love me the way the Steelers love their special teams coach.
Oh, my God.
That
what
guy
a Yinzer.
is adorable. I love it.
He has such Yinzer energy. Danny Smith. Shout out to Danny Smith. Shout out to Minka Fitzpatrick. I count that
Why are
in my
you
personal
shouting people
record
out
book.
like this?
They
What
won
are you-
Sunday Night Football. That's what you do. Yeah.
Because, Dan, the
SNF.
Steelers lost Sunday Night Football like 2 weeks ago to a terrible Dallas Cowboys team. Cowboys team. And I thought that I would never feel joy again. Yeah. But then last night, they scored 37 points for the first time since... The last time they scored 37 points, I worked at Sports Illustrated.
Jessica, I need you to
Sports Illustrated existed.
Shout out to the Steelers.
Jessica, I need you to calm down. And what you're seeing here, Greg Cote, happen is basically Jessica got one game of what the Dolphin offense was last year. She's been so quiet. The Steelers have been winning, but she knows she doesn't want to win in the postseason 18-12. And so she got a night of offense. A night of, Pickens can run down the field like I always thought he could. And now she's dominating Stugotz on one of the worst sports days of his life.
She deserves it.
Yep.
Because
the Mets don't make the World Series. The Jets lose. Their season's over. It's just... I'm used to it, Dan. I'll be okay.
Devastating Mets loss for you. You're a big follower this year.
Yeah, I am. I'm a big Mets fan. I love the Metropolitans. The Jets 2-5. There's no recovering from this.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets are done.
How
They're
about
finished.
those Liberty, though, huh?
Dan,
those Liberty?
Oh, the Liberty are great. What's frustrating about the Jets is this is not the way.
That is not the way to talk.
They're great.
Listen,
I had all three on the TV at one time last night. Listen. They're great. They're winners.
Sabrina was great last night.
We focus on losers.
But let's just talk about how great Sabrina was.
Classic Game
last
7.
night.
She's great, yeah.
But how great was she last night?
Clutch. I mean, great. Yeah.
Garrett Wilson had a bad game. Really bad game.
Who
Aaron
did?
Rodgers was picking his nose on the sideline at one point.
Yeah.
He also looked like he may have had some smelling salts. I don't know.
He looks old. He checks down. The offense stinks. He stinks. I mean, I'm so tired of it.
How about
really am.
he should admit that he stinks at this point? Not in those words, but he needs to gain credibility with Jets fans by saying, I've been a disappointment. I'm disappointing myself. I need to be better. I need to lift this team. This is why they brought me here. The experiment isn't working. Aaron Rodgers needs to be better, said Aaron Rodgers. That's what we need to hear and never will.
Well, let's backtrack for just a moment. Jessica mentioned a couple of things, so let's go to the Aaron Rodgers nose picking first, because it's where we must start today on a day of championship.
He ate it!
Did he eat it? It looks like he ate it.
Wasn't even his worst pick of the game.
We also
Oh, he did eat that.
It looks like he ate it. Yes. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Batard Show. Did Aaron Rodgers eat the booger?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Also, let's go to him on the sidelines with the smelling salts, or what we allege are smelling salts, because he's just sniffing. It's just, I guess it is smelling salts, right? Like that's either that or earplugs.
I don't know what else could that be.
It just looks like a jar my wife has by the bed of things that she sleeps with.
I love how it has to go into every hole of the face mask. He puts it in the front, and then it's like, all right, I got to go in from
Wait,
the
what does
side
your wife
here.
have by the bed?
A jar of stuff.
A holistic remedy of some kind, or
It's just earplugs. It's just a jar of earplugs.
To smell?
Oh,
That's it, not to smell.
no, you're snoring, right?
I'm just saying it looked at the bottom. What does my snoring have to do with
That's
anything?
what's
I mean,
the
why would you wear
earplugs for?
earplugs to bed? I
You
mean,
don't. You don't do that.
What if there's an emergency? I've always been afraid to put like earplugs or like an eye mask on in case there's an emergency around me. And
you.
I need to act immediately.
Billy's right.
Thank you.
It is. I almost said against the law. We're not there yet. But it is unwise on so many levels to wear earplugs at night.
But like the eye mask, as if like you'd wake up and be like, oh, I hear something. There's trouble, but I can't take this eye mask off,
Correct.
so I can't help.
Yes.
No,
Sorry, honey. You're on your own. I have an eye mask on.
The earplug thing reminds me of my grandma who, well, when we're like sleeping in the same hotel room or something on vacation, she'll take out her hearing aids at night and she'll tell me like, if something happens, if someone breaks in, wake me up because I can't hear anything. And I'm like, Grandma, who's breaking into our hotel room? Like, we're in Charleston.
And what's she going to do if someone breaks in? Like, is Grandma?
You don't wanna know.
She knows mixed martial arts. Like,
She will. My grandma is so loud that she has literally raised people from the dead.
Yeah.
A guy at her church had a cardiac event once, and she screamed his name at him in his face so loud that his heart started working again. Wow. And then the paramedics came, and he ended up surviving.
Jessica, wow. Holy shit.
So I think she would scream at them until they died.
That's a miracle.
I was about to make fun of you when you said literally raises people from the dead, but then you rose someone from the actual dead.
And he was pissed, too. He wanted to die.
Really?
He has not talked to her since.
I mean, once you're dead, right?
Just one miracle away from being a saint now.
Holy crap.
Once you're dead, Stugotz?
Do you want to come back? I mean, it's comfortable under the.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. After you're dead, do you want to come back? I really don't understand what you're doing. Are you tired from God Bless Football?
No, I'm not tired from God Bless. I'm just asking the question. Once you have died and you're taking the big nap, do you really want to come back from it? That's all.
It's a good question.
Yes.
Is it, though? I thought people were generally averse to death. I thought if there was ever a quote that we or a consensus we can find in the divisive landscape of America and talking sports, I thought people generally wanted to live.
Not this guy. I think it depends.
Well, he's a Jets fan and a Mets fan.
Yeah.
That's why he feels today
I could use a big nap.
like it would be better for the big nap.
Greg, how do you feel about nose plugs when you sleep?
I'm not in favor of any of that stuff.
Really?
No. I mean, what am I, a horse? You know, they do that to horses. They put blinders on a horse so that it's not distracted by what's over there.
That's generally when they're on like a vehicle on the highway.
Right.
I know, but horses love to. When I see a horse trailer, when I see a horse trailer, I look in all the time in case it's Calmly, my racehorse.
Yeah.
And it
Just
never,
in case he's strolling by, right?
It never is, by the way, because Calmly always runs in Europe. But whenever you look in a horse
Calmly
trailer,
could be on vacation.
the horses are ecstatic to be riding.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
that's
no
the
way you
furthest
can
thing from the
determine.
truth.
They like to look
Love
around.
a horse trailer.
Yeah. A good Sunday drive for a horse.
The
that's what
horses
they like.
love going 80 miles an hour on a highway,
They like-
barely
yeah.
strapped in.
They like having the blinders off. Horses love peripheral vision, and the problem is that's why they kind of put the blinders on, so they can't get distracted, so they can look straight and look at where they're going.
Right, but ask any horse trainer, ask a horse, do you love a ride in a horse trailer? Unequivocally, the answer is yes.
Nay.
Jumpin' Charlie loves a ride.
Really?
When I take him in the car to the vet, it's the happiest 20 minutes of his life.
Have you ever thought about putting blinders on Jumpin' Charlie, maybe to calm him down?
I have not. He would go crazy. You know what I did the other
Works
day?
for horses.
When this thing is half empty
Or half full.
or half full, I
Right.
bang it against my knee, and you get that little sound. That little sound that to a dog is like hugely loud, right? And the dog was going crazy. Erling made me stop doing that because the dog was just enchanted and angered by that sound, which I took as funny and will continue to do it when she's not around.
Now imagine if he had earplugs in, you know?
Right.
Wouldn't be able to hear the sound.
Yeah,
A
no.
disservice.
No, I don't need my eyes covered when I sleep. I don't need earplugs, nose plugs, no kind of plug.
Just
butt
your legs
plugs.
crossed.
I don't need any of that.
12
stuff to
beers.
sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that helps. That helps.
It always does.
Yeah, you know.
My dog also gets very excited when I put the dog in the car But once I get to the vet, the dog starts crying.
They know.
really?
How do they know the shopping center every time?
Because they've been there before.
It's the smell. They recognize the smells around horror and good things.
No, but from the car they start barking.
But yet somehow they don't recognize fireworks.
They have an amazing sense of smell.
They do.
I need to stop Greg Cote for a moment, just because I don't think I've heard anything more outrageous in the history of this show than those horses like going 80 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah.
There is no way that those horses are enjoying that.
Well, do you like going 80 miles an hour?
Well, how do you know? I mean,
Billy, not helpful.
Top down. Why wouldn't horses enjoy the same thing?
Right.
You have a convertible.
I mean,
drive
some-
fast. Feel
yes,
the wind
yeah.
in your hair, air in your hair.
Some animals, some people, they like motion, Dan. They do, especially fast motion.
Horses
They
make
do.
a living running fast.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Fact, Jack.
Thoroughbreds.
Make a living.
Yeah, they make a living.
And having sex.
It's a very good living horses have.
Yeah.
People get on me about owning a racehorse. Oh, it's cruelty to animals. No, racehorses are cared for, unlike any other animal on the face of the earth. I think
Dogs?
I think even McGill would agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although my dog, books. Who put these books up here? They're right in my face. What is that? Back in My Day and The Pride of a Lion. Oh, my 2 books. I never even noticed.
Couple of books, cutting it up. Yeah,
right. But they're right in my face. Back in My Day, out October 29th, which I think is a week from tomorrow.
Huh.
I could be wrong. I don't have a calendar in front of me. But no, racehorses, the good racehorses, the well-kept racehorses, are cared for like nobody's business.
That's why I love going to Santa Anita.
Well, let's don't get me started there. There's a lot of bad in horse racing, and the good trainers, the good owners are trying to clean up the sport.
Oh, you're doing a lot, are you?
Well, I'm a fractional owner. I mean, I have people.
You couldn't be doing less.
I have people in my purvey,
right,
who
that you trust,
who are taking care of business.
Yeah. You've never met Calmly, huh?
I have never met
Would Calmly know you if you visited Calmly?
I think there would be a little connection there.
Yeah.
Really?
I'd pat him on the snout, give him a little.
You've thought about this,
bay, which works for works for all animals,
What
not
you have
just
to say.
not just dogs.
Mm-hmm.
It's calming, bay. Mm-hmm. So we'd see how that worked on Calmly.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you drive on the highway out here and you look in the event it might be Calmly, who only runs in Europe.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Just to be clear. Just to make sure.
Okay, so you would assume, though, surely Calmly would react calmly to being flown from Europe to here, right? Would love it because it's flight and moving fast.
Sure.
Instead of having to be, sedated by horse tranquilizers because they hate that stuff.
Yeah, no, there are special cargo planes for horses.
Right.
They don't mind the trip. Maybe some of them do prefer to be sedated. I can't speak to that.
It's sad that Calmly's never going to know what it feels like driving 80 miles an hour down an expressway, because over there they drive kilometers an hour.
That's a good point by Billy.
Yeah.
Very valid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Important.
Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together with good drinks and good people. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka and is an official vodka partner of the NFL. And this year, Smirnoff is giving fans in select areas of the country a chance to win the ultimate game day experience. From tickets to sideline passes and much more, just head to WeDoGameDays.com until November 15, 2024 to enter for your chance to win. That's WeDoGameDays.com. Smirnoff, we do game days.
Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. 21 plus. Ends November 15, 2024. See rules at website for participating area and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Inc., New York, New York.
Howdy, listener. It's Mike Ryan. You probably like football, don't you? You're listening to a sports podcast. How can you not love football? From defending your favorite team after a bad loss to obsessively checking your fantasy lineups, football fandom is bigger than just Sundays. Miller Lite knows the passion that comes with rooting for your team, like the debate that sparked in 1975. Great taste versus less filling. So, what is the best thing about the original light beer? Let it be both. From its beautiful color, to that gorgeous white can, to the fact that it's refreshing, to knowing that you're not sacrificing any flavor when you grab America's favorite light beer, the original light beer. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste at only 96 calories. Make your game time taste like Miller time. Tastes great and is less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. Hey guys, it's Mike Ryan, and it's approaching basketball season. The highlights, the celebrity sightings, the fits, all those ridiculous outfits. Professional basketball has a way of making that sport such an event, and sometimes demand for these events can get crazy. That's why I like to go to my favorite place on the secondary ticket marketplace, the only place that you guys should be checking, the Game Time app. Game Time is my favorite app for so many reasons. All-in pricing, panoramic seat views, the lowest price guarantee, Game Time's ticket coverage. There's several things that you could love about Game Time. They have this new gnarly feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, it helps to make curation easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater, you name it. Take all the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time.
Dan Le Batard.
What do I got here? I got a Magnum condom. We won't get that out.
That's shocking.
Stugotz.
Here's a picture of Christopher when he was like 3 years old.
Right next to the condom.
Yeah.
As a subtle reminder.
Yeah.
Never forget.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So Jessica was saying, because she was enthused, she's excited about her coach, she's excited about her Steelers. Let's play Mike Tomlin cutting through all of the bullshit when a reporter tries to inflate how well his team is playing and how great his quarterback is, and Mike Tomlin's not here for any of that.
What does it say that Russ kept the ball and pushed his way in for that 1-yard rushing touchdown? And what did you learn about maybe his resilience and his strength in that moment?
It was just a sneak.
Well said.
I love that guy.
That's all he does is cut through the bullshit. I mean, he's great.
I love Tomlin.
Overrated.
What?
There it is.
Stugotz.
He's great. Overrated.
I mean, he's won a single Super Bowl.
If he's overrated,
geez,
what is Aaron
on.
Rodgers,
I mean,
by the way? Because,
overrated.
I mean, he was rough last night.
He was. One Super Bowl. Same deal.
Yeah.
Should have won more.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know, when you win one Super Bowl, it's almost worse than winning none.
Wow.
You have to win.
No.
You have
That
to
is
win that
true.
second
Greg,
Super Bowl.
So for Trent Dilfer, winning one is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But when you have that kind of talent, to only win one is
Greg's
a
right,
complete travesty.
It's damning.
Yes.
It damns your entire career.
I agree.
Ask Aaron Rodgers. Ask Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other examples of that around sports.
It's why number 2 was so important for Peyton.
Have to have
yes,
it.
you had to.
have
Right.
it.
Even though he did nothing, it was important to get it.
I just want to be clear on what the take is, okay? Because Monday's a big day for us. Everybody shows up. They want to talk football. I've yet to get to it because you guys won't let me. Jessica badly wants to get to all things Steelers.
I mean, we talked about Chuck Knox.
I'm done talking about the Steelers. Stugotz, you've ruined it.
Wow.
What happens?
You made me sad. Enough with the
sorry.
Tomlin is overrated talk.
I
Can
know,
we
I'm
just?
teasing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry the Jets lost.
It's
I'm
all
not really actually sorry, but it's a ridiculous take.
Russell Wilson has a chance to go back to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he played his way out. Now he's played his way back in.
Exactly. He's a good quarterback and never wasn't. I know a couple of years ago everybody was really down on him, but there's 2 teams in the league that come to mind that could very well use dual quarterbacks because they're both so different. One is the Steelers with Wilson and Fields, and the other is the team we just saw.
He was pretty bad in Denver, Greg. Like,
don't
erase it because he played a good 3 quarters last night.
No, he had one bad season.
But it was pretty terrible, and it got him fired.
Right. It didn't get along with the coach, and there was a lot of personality stuff there. But the other team is the Colts. Joe Flacco, pretty good quarterback, best backup in the game.
Only one Super Bowl.
But Justin Fields is such a different quarterback than Flacco as Fields is from
What is your take
Wilson.
that it is better to win no Super Bowls than one Super Bowl?
Well, I use the word almost because obviously I'm exaggerating. But my point is, if you aspire to being an all-time great, as Aaron Rodgers does, one Super Bowl ain't going to cut it. Okay?
Yeah.
When Aaron Rodgers retires in 2 years or whenever.
But Dan Marino's got none.
I know Dan Marino has none.
He would rather have Dan Marino's career, is what he's saying.
He's paid for it. Dan Marino's paid for it by having none. Aaron Rodgers will pay for it in legacy by having only one.
He's right. Brett Favre is paying for it.
He will be seen as underperforming.
You think Aaron Rodgers' 1 is worse than Dan Marino's 0, just to be clear.
Comparable.
Yeah.
Comparable.
Well, Stu, the people of Mississippi were paying for Brett Favre.
That's a fair point.
Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Aaron Rodgers' 1 title less valuable than Dan Marino's 0 titles?
Look at what that second second Super Bowl did for Peyton Manning.
That's a good point.
Look at that. I mean, it changed everything.
You're right.
Changed the entire perception about Peyton Manning.
What's he right about, Stugotz?
You need a second Super Bowl, Dan, to kind of.
I know, but what he said originally is that having none is better, is almost better.
Almost, right? Almost. He stopped short of saying it.
But
Yes,
right.
Eli Manning also too. That second one was huge.
He may not be a Hall of Famer without that second one. Now he might be a first ballot guy.
Well, that's what they say. Not if I'm voting. I'll tell you that.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, I don't put Eli Manning to me is not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, winning 2 is almost worse than winning 1.
That's another way to put it. When you're Eli Manning, if Trent Dilfer wins the second one, he's the same Trent Dilfer. Nobody's going, oh, now you got to think about him for the Hall of Fame. No, you don't.
So 2 doesn't matter.
No, we're talking about the
depends on the player.
expectation.
It could be a burden in some instances.
I mean, we all agree Rodgers should have more than 1 Super Bowl, correct? I mean, everyone agrees with that.
And frankly, Tomlin should have a second one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
For coaches, is 0 almost better than 1 also, or is that just for players?
It depends on the circumstance. Like Stugotz's, record book, personal record book.
Thank you.
With me, it goes player by player and coach by coach. Whether 0, 1, or 2. The only thing that's agreeable to all is that once you win that third Super Bowl, you were in rarefied air.
Yep.
You were breathing oxygen like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. And so if you get that third, there's
Why
no
is
debate.
it like nobody's business?
Well, it has to be.
Well, ask,
What does that even mean?
Well, ask someone that's won 3.
It's a different type of oxygen, Dan.
Breathing oxygen like nobody's business.
Right. That means
An endless flow of oxygen.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have 3 Super Bowl wins, you don't even
No
need
big
the
naps
air.
here, right? We've got so much oxygen, it's just a life force forever.
Yes.
It's a world you'd like to live in after dying, perhaps.
There you go.
The story from yesterday that I don't believe anyone's going to be talking about is the fact that Patrick Mahomes is terrible this year and they're 6-0.
Yep.
Like he's not, never mind, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's in the 20s in all his quarterback ratings and basically has Bo Nix-like stats on touchdowns and interceptions, and they're the only undefeated team.
He leads the league in wins. I mean,
That's right.
Yes.
That's the only stat he leads in, but in all quarterbacking stats, he's in the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing. I picked San Fran, so I'm very disappointed in Mahomes.
So your analysis of the game is just what you thought and what you picked and how you got it wrong.
Exactly.
Okay, that's your first thought.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? It's all about me. Whee!
That's right.
Mahomes also leads in Spags.
That's true. He does.
I mean, that guy's the MVP, I'm telling you.
Jared Goff's the MVP.
He's so good. That game was
Hold
so
on
good.
a second. Baker plays tonight. Let's
great
just.
game.
Oh, that's right.
The last 4 games, Jared Goff,
Oh, my God.
Jared Goff has been the best quarterback there's ever been. There's never been somebody who's got that passer rating and completes over 80% of his passes for 4 straight games. That's not a thing that's happened before. Jared Goff just did it.
Is it fair to say it's getting late early for the 49ers? Ayuk?
Put it on the poll
McCaffrey? Ooh.
at Le Batard Show. Is it getting late early for the 49ers?
Yeah.
So you had 3 televisions on last night, Stugotz? Because I feel like if we start quizzing you on this, particular information is going to fall apart.
Yeah, I had 3. Well, I had the, I had the 3 box going. So
The old 3 box.
YouTube TV had the WNBA game, actually. They've been slacking on that.
Yeah.
Stugotz Collier had a lot of free throws last night. She did really well from the line.
Yeah, she did. It's a great game. I mean, they hoisted the trophy, and that's all that matters.
Hoisting it.
It's classic Game 7. I don't care how they got to winning the Game 7. I mean, I know Sabrina was terrible. Okay,
Yeah,
she was
Game 5.
She's the reason they lost the game.
Game 5.
Yeah, but they won.
5.
But had they lost, she would have been the reason they lost the game. Is that fair?
Felt like a Game 7.
Yes.
It did feel like a Game 7.
Right.
Thank God the WNBA is going to a best of 7 in the finals next year, and that's been way a long time.
It's about time.
Yeah.
This is we found the sport that Stugotz can't fake his way through. He can do it on college basketball. He can do it on other sports, but I don't think that he can do it on this. Game 5s or Game 7s or last winner-take-all game stakes for both teams in basketball are usually pretty terrible. Liberty win the championship shooting 30% because more people are watching than have ever watched, and you kind of feel it. And this is something that is felt everywhere by everybody in these. Both teams have their season ended by a loss. You rarely get a team shooting 55% and seeing a beautiful basketball game. It's usually a whole lot of tightness, a whole lot of missed shots. But again, it becomes about the officiating at the end because can we play this sound here of Cheryl Reeve? What happened?
I'm just, it's terrible what she said. She's not even giving the Liberty their moment, their first championship after losing 5 times in the final. She's not even giving them their moment. She puts the ass in class by her post-game reaction.
Okay, well, hold on a second, okay, because she just had her season ended. She thinks it's because of the officiating. The officiating, the disparities are unarguable. So after the game, usually they do, all of the coaches do what Stugotz does, or what Cote is suggesting here. At the end of losing a championship, try to show some grace. You rarely have a coach just say, that shit was stolen from us at the end.
It's a shame that officiating, had such a hand in a series like this. Obviously, there's always going to be a team that's going to be a little more disappointed than the other. I thought today was incredibly disappointing. The challenge, we have got to change our challenge rules, and the officials doing the game should have a third party because that was not a foul. I know all the headlines will be Reeve cries foul. Bring it on, right? Bring it on, because this was stolen from us. Bring it on.
Greg, did you think it was a foul on Alana Smith?
No, I wasn't watching. I've seen the replay since.
Yeah.
I've seen the replay since. And whether it was a foul or not.
Why couldn't you have just answered? I mean, whether you saw it or didn't.
Appreciate the honesty, honestly.
Because I'm a truthful guy.
Yep.
I have seen the replay a couple of times. I don't abide any coach. If an NBA coach says that, he's fined $100,000. I hope the WNBA
She'll probably get fined.
fines her a commensurate amount because you just don't do that. I don't care if the free throws are 45-13. I don't care if you dispute a particular play, a particular call like that. You have to have more grace in defeat than she showed.
I mean, fair enough if you want to criticize her for taking this sort of tone during her post-game press conference, but Cheryl Reeve, I mean, she's a ultra competitor, and I think she feels sort of justifiably slighted by the officiating in this game. And it's not just this game. Like, the officiating in the WNBA as a whole is baffling from night to night a lot of the time. The officiating in Game 1, there were some really sketchy calls that kept the Liberty in the game late and took it to overtime. And I thought the Alana Smith foul was pretty egregious. There was also a missed travel call on Stewie late in the game that would have ended it. They reviewed the foul on Smith and said that they stuck with the call. I really don't understand it. It was weak, and to lose a game on that, it really sucks. At the same time, like you said, Dan, the Liberty had a god-awful shooting night, especially from 3. They could not shoot from 3 at all, and the Lynx were not able to capitalize on that throughout the game and build a lead. They also didn't shoot very well. So I think there's a lot of frustration to be had there with just like not being able to take advantage of the team you're playing against. Their stars are not shooting well, and the Liberty had to go to their bench and like really dig deep to find some players who were able to come up big in huge moments like Naira Sabally was. But it was just like the officiating was bad. Like, it was bad, and it sucks that that's the story, but hopefully that gets the WNBA to make some changes and to get it right next time, because that shouldn't be the story after a great championship series. But we all watched the game, and to quote Aisha Curry, we saw it. We all watched the game, and it was bad.
It's a bummer that this is the conversation ever after a championship. But to have a deciding game go into overtime, Stugotz? Do you know how few of those we've gotten overtime? Where you're going into overtime, but unfortunately, and this is what I want to ask Greg Cote, the champion shot 30%, which means if you held the champion to 30%, and the reason you think you lost that game is because of a free throw disparity that large, when that's the difference in your game, nobody's making shots, they're getting the free throws. What coach wouldn't lose their mind about that after a game? And if you cared the way she cares about this, as opposed to just tuning in for a couple of hours, one night of care because everybody else is watching, you'd be made insane by losing this publicly because the officiating can't get it right when you've gotten your job right, you've gotten your players to do their job right, and all you're asking is for the league to give you competence at officiating. Who wouldn't be as angry as she is there?
I'd be angry because my team was 3 of 19 from 3. I'd be angry because my team scored 2 points in overtime.
I know, but Stugotz, if you were like, let's make it both of you. Let's say you kept getting fouled and you lose, both of you. You're not complaining after the game. You're being classy in defeat, saying it's not about the officiating at all. The two of you are going to be accountable in that spot.
I think you need to couch it under, first off, let me congratulate the New York Liberty, and then you can go into your rant. You have to do that on the front end. It's front end work, Dan. You have to.
Right.
Are you sure she didn't?
I don't know.
Not that I heard.
Yeah.
And by the way, for perspective, the Minnesota Lynx have won 4 WNBA championships this decade, or I think one of them may go back to 2009.
Reeves says she lost this. She lost one in 2000. They lost one in 2016 this way too, right? Where she was complaining after the game about the officiating.
Right. Yeah. So I think every coach in her spot would be disappointed by the way the game ended. I think 90% of coaches would be classier than to say
I'd
what
be
she
super
said.
frustrated.
I hate doing the you're not being classy conversation after this. It just is so. She's pissed. She wanted to win the game. She wanted to win her another championship.
Yeah.
Like you said, they've won 4 championships before, but I don't know what that has to do with this. This was a game 5, and it came down to some really, really sketchy calls.
Okay, but when she says what she says, and when you refer to sketchy calls, are you saying that the officials cheated to make New York win? What are you saying exactly? Because the officiating can miss calls in both directions. But to suggest that was stolen from me, or whatever phrase she used.
She was very clear in what it is she was saying and insinuating.
That was insinuating.
Right. They took it from us.
No, she was talking about incompetence. She was asking for competence from the officials. And not even competence, consistency.
Okay.
If you're going to get it wrong both ways.
And who says they didn't?
But look at the free throw disparity. Did you not watch?
That doesn't always indicate anything, the free throw disparity. How about the team that had more free throws was fouled more often? Is that a possibility?
What were you saying after Saints-Rams when there was just a clearly terrible call that affected the game?
I mean, I had the Rams winning, so it didn't bother me.
Are you okay? What happened?
I'm struggling here.
Wait, so Greg, if Greg had picked the Lynx last night, I think we're talking about this in a different way, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he'd just be talking about his pick. That's right.
I mean, we all have our perspective. I didn't have any money or particular interest in the game. I was rooting for the Liberty only because they'd been in the finals 5 times before and never won.
Right.
I was happy for them.
I'm with you, Greg. And the season is longer than one game. The Liberty were the best team this whole season, and they deserved a championship based off of their full season of play. And I don't want to take anything away from those players because despite the terrible shooting
take something
last
away
night,
from them.
They played really great this season. However, the Lynx were the best challenge to the Liberty all season long. And the Lynx were really good at playing against the Liberty specifically in this season and especially in this playoff series. So I just think that she's totally entitled to her feelings about how this game ended, because if it happened to any of us that way, we would also be pissed off and not very happy about it.
I think the common sense, the common courtesy in her position is to start off by congratulating the opponent and then say, having said that, I didn't like some of the officiating. But to say it the way she does, they stole it from us, that's too much.
Now, if the Liberty don't go on to repeat or win another one in the next, 3 to 5 years, was it worth winning this one?
You owe money from your phone dinging in the middle of that. He
has no idea.
Yeah.
Why are you reaching down? No.
And you were getting texts about calmly. All right, excellent.
You okay,
I was
Greg?
looking for my cough button.
Yeah.
Somebody stole it.
Someone moved it,
Yeah. The cough button was moved.
Right where it's always been, huh?
Bada boom, sold.
Huh?
Just sold my car on Carvana. Dropping it off and getting paid today.
Already?
What, you still haven't sold yours? You told me about it months ago.
Is
the offer good?
Oh, the offer's great.
Don't have another car yet?
I could trade it in for this car I love.
Come on, what are we waiting for?
You're right.
Let's go.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
Howdy, listener. It's Mike Ryan. You probably like football, don't you? You're listening to a sports podcast. How can you not love football? From defending your favorite team after a bad loss to obsessively checking your fantasy lineups, football fandom is bigger than just Sundays. Miller Lite knows the passion that comes with rooting for your team, like the debate that sparked in 1975. Great taste versus less filling. So, what is the best thing about the original light beer? Let it be both. From its beautiful color, to that gorgeous white can, to the fact that it's refreshing, to knowing that you're not sacrificing any flavor when you grab America's favorite light beer, the original light beer. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste at only 96 calories. Make your game time taste like Miller time. Tastes great and is less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.